what we want to say, what is interesting, or what was interesting about our project, or what we were like wanting to explore, was the degrading of speech and in translation. It's sort of an important concept here, and this also relates to the imperfection of technology. We're particularly interested in technology being asked to stretch to its limits and breaking. This is because when technology is stretched or sort of at its seams, this is when you see both the limits and the promises of technology. This comes from a fascination with errors and breaking technology as it breaks, where our systems reveal their larger dysfunction. What do warnings and errors and miscommunication have to tell us about our systems? What does it have to tell us about information theory? Every error message is a mediated communication between a software team and the user and audience. What do they reveal? What problems can they hint at? So to demo or to talk about what we've set up, and we'll invite you afterwards to come and look at our setup in the other room. This is a 2-player game. We created one person, the player 1, who is reading a script about communications. That script is being distorted as it's run through a program called Pure Data, and a patch within Pure Data. Player 2 listens to that distorted sound, the reading of the script, and tries to interpret what player 1 is trying to communicate, and is writing out the transcript. The audience can see what player 2 captures from the headphones, but cannot hear the distortion. They only hear what is actually being read. This is what Pure Data looks like. It's a visual programming language that's a branch from Max MSP, and it was created by one of the original programmers from Max MSP, which is a programming language that was developed for real-time sound processing by musicians and artists. This is what you're seeing here is the interaction playing, and then if you could hear it, there you can. Okay, it's the sound as it's being processed by Pure Data. So as we tried to explore this concept, how did we arrive here? We looked at a whole broad discussion about what the nature of sound is, what is communication, what is information theory. We did that for several weeks. Then we looked at transcription and what speech-to-text sort of looks like, and the difficulty of speech reading. We talked about that a long time, and how exhausting it is, and how exhausting it is to translate in real time. And this is about sort of the limits of your brain capacity, but that also then relates to the whole concept of what information theory is, and about how much information you need to actually understand a concept. So our influences, we looked at some of the work by deaf sound artist Christine Chun Chim. We looked at Rachel Kolb's work. She's a sound equity activist and a speech activist. She's a deaf Stanford grad. And we looked at the work of Neil Harrison, who is a sound artist and dealing with issues around body modification and sound. Our big aha moment, we had a little meeting where we were trying to talk about our project and our difficulties in sort of getting through to that one big moment. And as we were going through this conversation, we were having this sort of weird parallel transition thing where I was just watching speech to text, and Ellen was talking to us, and other people were having to translate what she was saying and what the speech to text wasn't getting. So this whole displaced conversation, that was a big moment for us. This led us to this sort of maybe a description of what information theory is, that you go from information to communication to this static, which is this process of decoding, and then into translation, and then the message received, whether that message is correct or not, is the curious question we had to ask. So that's our project. Thank you. Come and see us in the other room.